we've got none other than Rakesh Sharma, ED at Bajaj Auto, joining in on the show right now. Rakesh, I don't know if you caught our previous expert. He was pretty gung-ho on the prospects of two-wheelers right now. Said he prefers them to passenger vehicles. That's four-wheelers as well. But tell me, how's your third quarter been? Because from what we see is that the domestic markets were sort of fueled for the company. International business as well has now been seeing a gradual recovery.
Well, good morning. First of all, I must say I didn't hear your previous speaker, but from what you said, it makes the two of us who share that view. Yes, the quarter three was an outstanding quarter, as you know. It was a hat trick of sorts because we breached our previous records on both top line and bottom line, and for the first time crossed 2,000 crores in PAT. And this despite the international business environment being very difficult still, though there is a gradual recovery, as you say, but it's a very, very gradual process. And then with all the twists and turns which the geopolitics in the Middle East is throwing up, that recovery is also becomes a little bit muted. So the entire, so the business was really carried forward through the revival, first of all, in the domestic market scenario. And within that, the outperformance of Bajaj Auto in the top half of the industry, which has been our strategic focus, which then gives you both volume, which is a much superior combination of both volume and revenue and bottom line. And this occurred both in motorcycles as well as three-wheelers, and which is what combined.
Demand is coming back from tier 2, tier 3, going into rural, which was the scenario was quite weak last few quarters.
Yeah, so, I find this trying to impose a divide between urban and rural is less efficient for analysis than looking at it segment-wise. Because I find that, the entry-level segments are performing poorly both in urban and rural. Whereas the, like the 125cc or the 150cc, the upper half of the industry, is performing well in both urban and rural. So I would say there is the right way to look at it is the segmental approach. And within that, I must add that the entry level and the 100cc, which till at least 3-4 months back was in a difficult spot, has improved. But still, the growth of the industry is being really powered by very high double-digit numbers in the 125cc to upwards segment. And that kind of a feedback we are getting from metros, mini metros, tier 1, tier 2 type of towns. And I find that dealerships in these places are seeing a steady flow of inquiries. And the very important aspect of this is that with the retail financing capability really penetrating the heart of India, it is to some extent having a positive impact. Because people, and this has to be combined with the confidence of these customers who, if I may remind you, earn less than 40,000 rupees per month. They are far more optimistic and far more confident of a continuing income, whether it's a three-wheeler driver or whether it is a two-wheeler owner, which emboldens them to take a loan, which emboldens the finance company to give a loan. And all these things are what are driving the 8 to 15% growth, 8 to 13% growth outlook for us.
All right. Morning, Rakesh. I also wanted to talk about the 15,000 volumes in Chetak reaching this quarter. Do you think that that will be manageable, despite the fact that we have seen, a lot of competition offering very aggressive discounts these days?
Yes, that of course is a sort of a goal which we have set ourselves. We were at, when we started the year, we were at 3,000-4,000 units level. Then we said in quarter three, we will do 10,000. And now we have set a goal of reaching 15,000. We are dancing on the edges of 15,000. I would say January was pretty good and I'm saying from a bookings perspective, which may not have still reflected in Vahan, but we are very, very close to breaching the 15,000 mark. There are two things which are happening here. One is, of course, that the industry is consolidating, the electric two-wheeler industry is consolidating in favor of the larger and more established players. So whilst it is the penetration rates have sort of slowed down, it's not as it's not like triple digit growth which is taking place, but you have to also understand the underlying ICE industry is also growing now. So the penetration rates have slowed down, but the customer is pretty much switched on now in terms of adopting electric two-wheelers. It is firmly in the consideration set. So we think that going to the customer with a complete proposition, not just a product with a massive discount and that kind of thing, but ultimately people buy two-wheelers with a view of ownership of 3 years, 5 years. I mean, average 5 years, if not even 7 years. And they have a view on that. It's not a use and throw thing where the customers will just buy any product at a discount. The fundamentals have to be in place. Customer care right through the ownership cycle has to be in place. And for that, they look forward to trusted brands. We are putting in an infrastructure. I mean, we have got a fairly good, dedicated, exclusive infrastructure and apparatus to take care of the ownership. And I feel the customer will reward us for that. Particularly, it takes time for this proposition to be felt by the customer. And we think it's a marathon. We are not in a hurry to, wave the flag. We want to put these basic fundamental capabilities in position so that we can give reassurance to the customer over, the ownership cycle. And that is what is happening. That is what is actually driving Chetak's growth. And we have added one more product this quarter. We hope to add another couple of products in the next fiscal year. So through a combination of product and the proposition of customer care, we think we should be able to continue to drive volumes up and up. Of course, the joker in the pack, so to say, is what happens to FAME. And we will get clarity about that, I hope, earlier than later, because that definitely temporarily will impact the assessment of buyers.
Rakesh, this year being seen as the year for a lot of new launches, 2024, not only by you, some of your peers as well. I won't call them competitors alone, but everybody is trying to gain market share in bigger segments. Are you doing it on your existing dealership network, or you have a aggressive plan to hike your dealership networks to new regions? Talk to us a little bit about the dealership part of the strategy, distribution.
Yes. We have chosen a slightly more difficult path, and if I may say so, a little more expensive path for the company, but I think which is much superior and better for the customer, of having exclusive dealerships for the different brands. So we have Bajaj motorcycles, which primarily sell Pulsar and Platina brands, as the backbone of the company, because that's the largest business. So those are dedicated to Bajaj brands. We have another dealership network for three-wheelers. We have set up 3 different networks, or in the process of expanding these networks, for KTM, which is an exclusive network, which is now at about 450 stores. Then we've got Chetak, which is it's a new business, as you know, which has again got exclusive dealerships and service centers. And we are running at about, I think, 170 stores across the country. And the youngest of the brands which we brought in is Triumph, for which we have 50 dealerships. So we believe that to really engage with the customer in a more specific way, it is important to have a retail as well as a service environment which is in step with the essence of the brand and what we are trying to accomplish in delivering the brand proposition. The dealership and the service centers are an essential part of the delivery of the brand proposition. So that has been our strategy, and we are going to obviously continue to expand the network, particularly in Chetak and Triumph. It's a very high priority agenda for us as this year FY25 unfolds.
Okay, good to have you on board. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining in. That's the view coming in from Rakesh Sharma of Bajaj Auto, talking about how the revival in the domestic business clearly aided their performance in the year gone by, and particularly in Q3. And as of now, the cost scenario, that's looking fairly steady. They are looking to breach the 15,000 mark when it comes to the EV sales soon.